All right, our next technique is going to be about rotation. So I'm going to do the same thing, insert a new scene, and we're going to do 3 different kinds of rotation. And I think the best way to exemplify this is to build a clock. So I've got a circle in here. I'm going to drag it out, put it on my stage, and I'll go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be a circle. You can do whatever you want. And I'm going to use my Align tool. This time I'm going to align to stage. Let me close some of the junk in the background here. I'm going to align it to the stage by choosing that, and I'm going to say align it to the center this way and align it to the center that way. Now, I've also got rulers here which will allow me to pull out guides. And the way that I got the rulers was under View, Rulers. So I can turn them off or I can turn them on. So that allows me then to pull out a guide, and I'm just going to pull a guide, 2 guides to identify the center of my clock. It's going to be useful for me when I do the hands of my clock. Okay, that's pretty close. All right, now I don't have anything in my library right now that looks like the hands of a clock, so I'm going to just create them, and I'm going to start to name my layer. So this is the face of my clock, and I'm going to make a new layer this time and call this the minute hand, okay, or minute for short. I'm going to lock the face too so that I don't do anything bad like draw this on there. So I'm going to just go from the center of my clock outward, following my line there. And it's kind of a little skinny line. I'm going to go ahead and choose my line and look at the properties of it. And it doesn't want to give me the properties of it because it's kind of skinny. So let's zoom in a little bit. Black arrow, choose it. There we go. Let's make it, I don't know, 10. And now I've got a little bit of a fatter line. Double click, get me back to my size. Get that black arrow so I don't start zipping all over the place here. All right, and I do need to make this a symbol because I am going to animate it. So from where I am, I can hit F8, which is what I'm going to do. If you're on a laptop, don't forget you need to hold down that FN key. And I'll call this hand. And I'm ready to animate it. Let's say I want the face to stay on the stage for 60 frames. This will be nice working with 60 because we have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. I'm going to click right out on frame 60, and I'm just going to hit the F5 key, which is going to add frames, static frames. And now I've got my hand. I can right click on that, or I can choose it and say insert tween. Gotta get it though. There we go. Insert motion tween instead of right clicking. And it falls short, so I'm going to click and drag the end of my tween so that it's going to be there the whole time. Now I've got a little bit of a problem in that if I try to use the transform tool to rotate this, that isn't exactly how a hand rotates. So Flash allows us to change this registration point, as it's called, using the transform tool. So I can grab that little white dot in the center, our registration point, with the transform tool and drag it to the center so that now when it comes to animate it in a circle, get the cursor there, it doesn't want to stay there. We're not going to use that anyway. But it should pivot here. There we go. We got it. Right? So that looks a little more like a clock. However, we don't want to do the rotation that way. What we want to do is click on the tween, and the tween has properties, just like the symbol does, just like the stage does. So we can see here that it's got rotation. I'm going to choose clockwise, and I'm going to tell it to rotate 1 time. So it assumes by that I want to go the whole distance. So there I go, rotation number 1. Let's try it again. I'm going to make another hand for the hour. And to keep our file efficient, I'm going to use the same symbol. So I'm going to grab the hand from the library, pull it out here. I think I'll make it a little shorter so that it looks more like an hour hand. And because I used a line, it's also going to get a little skinnier. That's okay, I can live with that. And I'm going to set it so that it's rotated a little bit already. And then I will use my black arrow key to get it so that it intersects at that point as best I can. Now, if you can't get it exactly, you can use the arrow keys like I'm doing right now. And then I'll take that transform tool and I will move that registration point to the center. All right, this time I'll still go out to the end of my, actually I didn't put the tween on, so let's put a tween on that. Insert motion tween, or you can use your right click. And I'm going to click on that tween, which should give me the tween properties. And instead of rotating a full time, I still want to go clockwise, but maybe I only want to go 1 hour's worth because I'm rotating around the clock. So a full circle has 360 degrees, and a clock has 12 spots on it. So I need to divide 360 by 12, which gives me 30 degrees. So if I tell it that my tween, I only want it to go 30 degrees, you can type it in, I'm just using the slider. And I don't want it to go 1, I want it to go 0 and 30 degrees. I should see that over that time my hour hand moves 1 place. All right, we're almost done. I wanted to just add another little thing that a clock probably wouldn't have, but this is just to exemplify the different types of rotation. I'm going to call it orbit. And I'm going to get a little shape. I guess I can use my, well, let's use the star. I will bring my star out, and it's bigger than I'd like, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. And I will set it, let's set it just outside of the black circle. Now, I want it to orbit around the face of the clock. So I'm going to click it again. Using the transform tool, I'm going to take that registration point and actually pull it outside the box and have it register to the center point of my clock. And I will click now on my tween, which I didn't put in. So insert motion tween. I will click inside my tween, and I will get the property of the tween. I will tell it that I do want it to rotate. This time let's say we want it to go counterclockwise, and 1 is just fine. So let's play this right now. I'm going to choose none, and let's take a look at what I've got. We've got it orbiting around, and the hand of the clock is going clockwise, the star is going counterclockwise, and the hour hand is only going a portion of a circle. So that's our rotation exercise.